Thanks for joining us for another MagMod How I Shot It video. Today we got Elmer Escobar of TNK Photo. Hey everyone, this is Trevor Daly. I am here with Elmer Escobar. He's with our How I Shot It interview for today. Elmer, how you doing, man?
Doing great, Trevor. I'm excited about this. I don't really ever talk so much about how we shot things except with like our team here. So this is pretty cool. I'm excited about this.
Yeah, no, hey, we appreciate it. I know we featured a ton of your photos up on Instagram and on our Facebook page, and I know you've posted a lot in the community. So I know a lot of people have seen your stuff, but I mentioned Elmer Escobar, but in reality, your company is called TNK Photo. Is that right?
Yeah, so my company is named TNK, like you just said, and it's named after my dog.
I love it.
I freaking love that little guy, and when I was transitioning from Elmer Escobar to, something else, I was trying to think, all right, what in the world do I really, love? I didn't want some cheesy, wedding photography name or whatever. I just wanted something that's simple. Initials, basically, is what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
And so what I did is my dog's name is Tank. So I just went, took off the A, TNK. So that's what we came up with. Everybody on the team loved it because they all know, Tank. Yeah. They all love, little tankers. So that's what we went with.
I love it, man. I think we need to get a picture of Tank and we'll throw it up on the screen so everybody can see. So I got to roll with Elmer. Was it last week we were in California, or maybe 2 weeks ago? Gosh, it seems like time flies by so fast. And I got to hang out with Tank and see your studio there, and you got a really cool thing going on. You have quite a few people on your team, in fact. Don't you guys have like 5 or 6, or is it more than that? It seems like there's quite a few of you.
It's 10 of us right now.
Jeez.
And
that's rad.
It grew pretty organically. It was just, one of our mains is Sergio, and he came up to me once. I was shooting an event at a church, because there was a church that when I first moved to California, who always hired me to shoot events and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
He came to me, he said, hey, can you teach me what you do? And I was like, yeah, of course. I've always been the type that, I've been doing this since I was 20. I'm 32 now. And I've always been from the school of thought of, if I can give you something that you can use, then let's do it. Because, when I was getting into it, a lot of people were like, these are my secrets and I don't want to share them. And I'm like, okay, I never want to be that person. I want to be an open book, you know what I mean? Because there are secrets. You want to learn something, it's online. And if you go to the MagMod community, you'll find a lot there too.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's so true. Actually, that's one of the things I love about the community the most, is that there's just so much information in there. I'm laughing because JD Fitzgerald, one of the MagMod employees, is sneaking here behind me. So I'm at the MagMod office today out in Tucson, Arizona. So in fact, if you guys look, you might be able to see some of the photos behind me up on the screen, up on the wall here. So, but hey, with that, you had actually mentioned that you love sharing knowledge. So we're going to drop some knowledge on some people. You're going to drop some knowledge, and we're going to do it by showing some of your incredible images. So if you wouldn't mind, I actually, one of my favorite things you guys do a lot of is you'll have these people like on rocks and stuff, and you have the water like swirling around them and things like that. Can you maybe share one of those images and tell us how you shot it?
Yeah, so one of these images that we have here is from a couple that came here. She was living in Chicago, so we were scheduling when we can do this shoot and all this, and we found this beautiful afternoon. We were really lucky that it was a little bit overcast throughout the day, so in the afternoon we got this really colorful, sweet sunset. Mm-hmm. So at the end of the shoot, we always do it at the end, because in this situation especially, it came true. They may get wet. They may get a little bit wet, and I always tell them before we put them on the rocks, I go, listen, if I send you out there, you may not come back how you left. You may come back a little bit wet. Is that okay? 9 times out of 10, they're like, yeah, that's totally cool. I don't think I've ever had a couple actually say no. They're always really cool with it.
Yeah.
In any case, we sent them out there, and I set up a tripod because I wanted to do like a 2 or 3 second exposure, and I wanted to get the water just flowing around them. Now, before, when I didn't have, I didn't use grids and all that, if I hit them with a flash, with a 4 second exposure, anything that got hit by the flash was going to get frozen as well, which would completely kill the what we were going for.
Yeah.
So this situation, what we ended up doing, I think we either put 1 or 2 grids. I can't recall exactly. Might have been 2. We tend to use 2 a lot. And we put 2 grids and lit just a couple. So when the wave came, it went around them they were lit by the flash, just 2 grids, definitely a full power, I'm sure of that. And then the water just kind of went around them, and it just recorded this foamy look.
Yeah. I love that. And you know, just to reemphasize what you had mentioned there for other people, that if you've never done anything like this, like Elmer's saying, you can do a 2-second exposure, 3-second exposure. You know, even if it's like 1/30th second of exposure, something even faster, you can definitely do it. But like he's saying, is that if that flash hits that water, it's going to freeze it. And you don't want that frozen water. You want that swirling, you know, with the ambient light capturing it. So you basically use the grid to kind of control it so it didn't spread all over and hit the water. Is that right?
Exactly, and not only that, by using the grid and hitting the couple with it, the couple gets frozen. So I tell them, hey, listen, stand as still as you possibly can. I explain to them, anything that is moving is going to look blurry. So try to hold as still as possible. The flash will help, but just try not to move. So when we hit them, they froze, and it also let the water continue to move around them because none of the flash hit the water because of the grids.
Yeah,
and in that situation, in this one, we did no gel sometimes. Like on the next image that we're going to show, we do use a CTO gel. And the reason that we use a CTO gel is because we want that ambient light to look, or ambient exposure to look blue. And then by popping on a CTO gel and a grid, it allows the couple to stay color corrected.
Yeah.
See the girl in the dress, they're completely color corrected, but everything around them is very blue. And the reason for that is because we set our white balance on our camera to tungsten, or 3200 Kelvin, just around there. Yeah.
I love it. It's a great way of being able to have 2 complementary colors, that orange and blue, and really just kind of offset. It draws your attention, and you see this great kind of like contrast in the screen, not just of light but also of color, which is fantastic. So,
exactly.
Love that.
Yeah.
So basically, the only difference on that photo compared to the other one was that you threw a gel on there. Do you remember if it was you guys like a half CTO or a full CTO? Is there one that you tend to go to a lot?
We always go full CTO, just to really emphasize that blue.
Yeah.
It really, when you go half, it's not going to give you as much of a dramatic look. And especially when you're contrasting the red and the blue, I want that real, the colors are extreme.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of our studio photos are known for those very colorful shots. I would say about 100% of the time we go full CTO.
Yeah. No, I'm very similar like that. I like to use full as well. It seems like if you're gonna go CTL, you might as well just go full.
Just go with it. Give me some real blue. Exactly. Yeah.
I love it. I will say I do use half, like on the reception dance floors and things like that, where I'm not like, I don't want to like blow everything, like make it all blue behind them, but I do like fulls for these environments. So awesome. Yeah. So there's another shot you showed me where you're using the mag beam, and you created a really cool pattern behind people, because I see a lot of people doing silhouettes, but I think one thing that's really interesting that you did here is you did the silhouette, but you used the mag beam to make it stand out. Can you tell us a little bit about that image?
Yeah, so with the mag beam, when we first got it, we tested it out with the, when we pull it out and just kind of to really narrow down the light. We don't use that one for that feature as much. We tend to use either a snoot, or we use the double grid. There's been times where we even did like 3 grids when we're in like a room and we don't want it spread anywhere.
For sure.
We'll just come up. But for this, what we love using it is when it's closed down, and we put a design on it, and we'll usually use an orange gel. We tend to like that color because usually we play a lot with blues. In this case, we didn't. So in the one where they're in a cave, basically, it's out in it's Salvation Mountain out in the desert. This couple came in from Texas, and they wanted to do something like different. So I talked to them. I said, what about sand dunes? And we went back and forth, and eventually we landed on this. Yeah. So we set it up with a mag beam. We put a creative orange gel because we really wanted that orange look. And we put this design. The design that we like the most, I'm not sure what the name of it is. I'm sure you guys know. But it's the one that has basically like the lines going out. Kind of like this thing over here. Yeah. And then there's the lines that are going out. And the reason for that we like that is because it pulls you in. So that at least that's how I feel. I feel like all these lines are pointing towards this is where you need to look.
Yeah.
So if you look at this one, what we did is we just underexposed everything, just made it really dark. And then when we hit it, it just turned them into a silhouette with a little design behind them.
I love it. And that design complements the scene so much too, because it's such a kind of a funky, chaotic, kind of an artsy scene. Especially for those who have ever been to Salvation Mountain and seen the outside of it. There's lots of graffiti, kind of craziness, and then you have that design where it almost looks like it belongs there, like somebody painted it there, or and it's so much more interesting and unique than just putting a color as well, which is really cool. I really dig it.
Yeah, we like using, sometimes, we'll use just a color just because it looks cool.
Mm-hmm.
But usually if we do that shot, we're like, you know what, let's just give it that little extra. Let's give it a little design. It's like,
I dig it. I'm going to have to do that in my next shoot. I really like the idea.
Yeah, and then the next photo, the one with the, we did it by a church. We did basically the same exact design. So we keep everything in like one big bag, like with all the goodies.
Yeah.
We go, hey, let's put a design behind them. We just grab that one. Usually that's our go-to. It's the orange, the creative orange with that starburst design. And so we put that. I shifted my white balance down to 3200 Kelvin, right around there, to just get that blue again, similar to the wave shot.
Yeah.
So when I hit it, it just became really blue around them, and then the orange stayed obviously pretty orange. I did do a little bit of a radio filter in post just to kind of emphasize it a little bit more.
Yeah.
But pretty much the base was there to work off of.
So your radio filter in post, you did that to darken, further darken the outside?
And also to add a little more blue. So I pulled
gotcha.
the white balance just a little bit more. It was already pretty blue, but I wanted to really like crank it up a little bit.
Did you shoot that? Did you shoot that right around sunset, or was it after sunset? Was it like civil dusk, or was it like around sunset time?
I think we shot that like it was still pretty bright out.
Oh, was it? So even before sunset?
Yeah, because I remember right after this, we took them down to Laguna Beach to finish off down there, and we probably did like another half hour down there, with the sun still being out.
So it could very well have been just a very bright photo, and you just literally just darkened it down. That's cool. I like it.
Yeah, and then, I mean, those little AD200s, the Godox, that's what we use basically for every single one of these photos.
Yeah.
The MagMod system works with it. We used to have the AD600, and it wasn't going to work. Like the thing is way too big, the head.
Yeah.
We use the AD200 because we can use the MagMod. That's literally the reason we're like, you know what, we're done with this big thing. Let's go back to the little flashes.
Yeah. That's awesome. I love it. Those are great, man. There's so much good stuff here that people are picking up. So this new format of how I shot it, we're trying to keep these pretty small and digestible. But I would love, if you wouldn't mind, can you just talk about one more image here? It's a couple. To me, it looks like a rock in the movie Lion King that's behind him. I love it just because this shot is it's what I like to call it clean. It's one of those shots where it's just, that the couple, their mom, their grandma, everyone's gonna love the shot. Grandma might look at the other one at Salvation Mountain and say, what is this? Like, you can't even see your faces, right? But
exactly, yeah.
But this shot is just super clean, and I think it's one of those things where every photographer should know how to do a shot like this. So can you just kind of walk us through this shot as well?
Absolutely. So one of the things that we do, like, we shoot a lot of natural light, even though I know like we're not showing any of that, but we shoot a lot of natural light, and then once we want to play, then we start bringing these toys out.
Yeah.
This would be like a nice easy transition from going from natural light to starting to do more dramatic stuff. So what we did here is we had our assistant camera right, and they were holding it on a monopod, an 8200. And we had a grid, and we had a mag sphere on it. So basically, it was concentrating the light, because you can see it's kind of a little stronger up here on them, on their torso face. And then with the bubble, which is what we call, we don't go with technical names, but with
the mag sphere. I love how you say technical name.
Whatever, grab the bubble. That's how we go. And then,
it's the MM1027. No, just kidding. No, the mag sphere. But yeah, I get you.
So it gave it a little bit softer fall off.
Yeah.
So it was just like, a cut off where the light was. And that's why it has a feel where it kind of looks like natural light, but it's not quite. It just, that there's something that's a little different about it. If you don't know anything about photography, like something looks a little different, but you can't really put your finger on it.
Yep.
And really all it is just concentrating the light on their faces and a little bit of their upper body. And using high-speed sync. So shutter speed must have been, I can't really recall, but it was pretty high. And I know the aperture was probably like between 1.6 and f2, something like that.
So, and for those, and stop me or feel free to tell me if I'm wrong here, but you went high-speed sync so that you can make that sky so that it's not pure white, that you wanted a little bit of color in the sky, but at the same time not have to use an aperture that's going to put everything in focus, right? So in other words, you still wanted the focus on the couple, so using a wider aperture, faster aperture, but you want to use a faster shutter speed to kind of darken down the sky, so again, it's not like white, that you actually see some kind of that haze, that blue or gray or kind of some behind them. Is that a fair assumption?
So what we wanted is, when we do high speed sync shots, is we want to have that blur, but still have a little bit of off camera lighting just to shape their faces.
Yeah.
Because there's a difference between just being blurry and being natural light, which is nice, and being able to shape how the light falls on them while maintaining that natural light look, I guess, for lack of a better word, with that blur in the background.
That's awesome. Love it. Elmer, you're amazing, man. I like I said, I really enjoyed getting to know you last week and being out there in California, and I just absolutely love your work, man. It fascinates me. You're always posting incredible stuff, and we sure appreciate you sharing in the community and sharing with everyone else. Where do people find you, man? Tell us, like, your website, Instagram, all that kind of stuff.
Yes, so our website is tnkphoto.com, and our Instagram is our Instagram is tnkphoto.com, spelled out like that.
Okay.
I don't know where, has TNK Photo, they posted one photo, and then I don't know what they did with it, so we couldn't get that name. But it's just, if you type in TNK Photo, we'll probably pop up because it has more followers.
Yeah.
But yeah, tnkphoto.com, spelled out like that.
We'll put it here on the screen as well so people can see it and link to it in the comments as well. Thank you so much. Super appreciated, and appreciate you taking the time this afternoon just to kind of share with us. And if anyone has any questions, Elmer is an incredible guy, so if you guys just post in the thread, either myself or Elmer will be on top of it, and we'll help you guys out as well.